Hello, Bones here. I'm doing a short video on the Mythic Ra-Den Strat that was taught to me by the Undaunted Guild. Full credit to them for this strategy. Alright, so this strategy entails 2 orb phases, not 3, so you lust on pull. Well, you lust when you get on the boss. Anyway, the first orb that you're going to kill is going to be the Nightmare Orb, which is going to be spawning back here. Uh, So all the melee, everybody's going to chase it to the boss, which the tanks are going to pull the boss who spawns there to here, the base of the stairs, basically. So you're going to have the tanks pulling the boss there. The Nightmare Orb is going to go through there. You're going to kill that Nightmare Orb. And then you're going to have all the melee there, along with your Holy Pally. It's very important that the melee stay pretty tight to the boss because there isn't a whole hell of a lot of room. So the 2 orbs that the boss soaks in the first phase are going to be the Vita and the Void. The melee is going to be entirely responsible for soaking the Void orbs. You're going to use the sides of the staircase. So if we're tanking the boss right about here, where I'm circling, because the icons are not in the right position on the world map, but on the base of the stairs, then there's these 2 flat edges, that you can face the void orb towards and bounce it off of there. Do not bounce it up the stairs because it'll keep going, and in some cases, that'll actually go through the zone closure wall or whatever that is, making it so you can't soak it, and then everybody gets silenced and basically raid wipe. Plus, you just lower your DPS because you keep getting further and further away anyway. Alright, so when we're back to here, the melee, like I said, they're going to be going over here, bouncing the void. And the range is going to be responsible for the Vita. But the thing to remember with the Vita, just like in Heroic, the first person to get the Vita orb is always random. So in the first phase, the first person with the Vita is always going to go to Triangle. Always to Triangle. So let's say this guy gets the Vita, he's going to get big, and he's going to be glowing blue. He will go to Triangle, and the range will be taking care of the Vita soaks, so the melee do not have to worry about that. And the next person is going to go over to Moon in order to soak. So as you can see, Vita always goes to the furthest person away from the person that currently has the Vita charge. So if it's this person, then we want the furthest person to get it, which is going to be that person that is soaking on Moon. As you can see, no one else is even close. So that's good. This is also the line of death right here. No one wants to be in there. The range can stay within this rectangle, the safe rectangle, and you pretty much can stay in it most of the encounter. It's a safe rectangle right there. Just stay in there. It'll be all right for the most part. Now, sometimes people panic, whatever, if that does happen, and, say you've got, like, one of the range kind of way outside like that, you're this person soaking on Moon, going to Moon technically is the right thing, but you can clearly see this guy's going to be further away than this guy, and the the Vita charge will now go through this healer here, and it's probably going to cause lots of problems for your raid. It won't necessarily kill that healer, but it will do a lot of damage, and if he gets hit by any other mechanic, he's going to die. That's just not a good thing. So if you are this person on Moon, you can compensate by just going back further, like this, and now you are back to being the furthest person from Triangle, and you've just saved the raid from that guy's stupidity. Yay. Kudos to you. But honestly, it's just really easy to stay. If you picture imaginary lines that are connecting these 4 icons, just stay within there for most of this fight. So, like I said, This person's then going to get the Vita from the person that got it the first hit. Now he's going to be glowing blue and very big. This person goes back to the raid pile like that. And the next person goes out to soak. Goes now. Yeah, it's going to go that way. And again, I can't stress enough that melee, you need to be careful that you're not standing. It's pretty easy to accidentally get in that line of fire. You don't want to do that, so just be careful. So 5 soaks later for both the Void and the Vita, and we're going to go, keep DPS in the boss, and then we're going to get into the second phase. And when the second phase happens, now a little thing that the tanks can do that can help a little bit, it's not huge, but it helps with efficiency, is during the first phase, you can move the boss over to about there. And what that's going to do is not only will it make it a little easier for the melee to maybe bounce the Void Orb on the side of the stairs, because now they don't have to actually run anywhere, but when we transition to the second orb phase, it's easier for the melee to go after the Void Orb, which is the orb that we're going to kill in the second orb phase, because the Void Orb spawns over here about, and yeah. So when the second phase begins, the tanks are immediately going to take the boss all the way over to here, like that, and all of the melee are going to go and attack this Void Orb. When this happens, range needs to move inside of their... You don't actually need to stay in the rectangle during this phase. Like I said, most of this fight you'll be in the rectangle, but not the whole thing. During this point, you want to make room for the melee, because the Void Orb is going to travel... all the orbs travel towards the boss. So the Void Orb is going to be going like this. So you want to make room so that we're not stacking mechanics and making it harder for the melee DPS to do DPS. So you're going to want to, everybody, healers, DPS, all of us, are going to want to go over to the right-hand side. Some nice room for the melee to run through. And, yeah, like I said, you don't have to be in the rectangle, whatever. Just want to be out of the way, so that they don't have to worry about it. It helps, actually. You can kind of picture just kind of a pathway. You're gonna need to use something like this. So just keep that pathway clear, with no range or healers in there, except for maybe the Holy Paladin, probably fall in the melee. And it'll just make everything a lot easier for the melee, killing the orb, stuff like that. So, the orb's going to go in this direction. It'll probably die somewhere around there. Yay. Melee, you're going to stack up tightly to the boss. Okay, just like so. And range, we're going to end up going back to the rectangle of safety. Okay, so back here. You can have the two healers separate, one take left, one take right. It really depends on your comp, whether that's going to be necessary or not. So just keep that in mind. You might need to do that. But generally speaking, back to the rectangle of safety here. And so now in the second phase, the boss has absorbed the Vita and the Nightmare Orb. So the Vita Orb, again, is going to randomly target somebody, but this time forget about Moon, forget about Triangle. Now you go to Star. So let's say one of the melee gets very unlucky. He's going to go over to Star. Okay, so he's big, blue, and green, and glowing. And then the next person in the range is going to go to Circle, because they are the next assigned soak for the Vita. Now, with the Nightmare Orb, the Nightmare Orb is also random, goes on somebody, and the same group that was soaking the Void is now going to soak the Nightmare. And so let's say this person is the first person to get the Nightmare Orb. We'll put a little circle around him to indicate that he's got the orb. So he's going to have a big red circle around him. He's going to go over to X. The reason why he's doing this is so that he is close enough to the boss so that the next melee that needs to soak it can just go to maximum melee range, still DPSing the boss, and he will be closest to this person here. You see? So that's the thing with the Nightmare Orb. It goes to the person that's closest to you. It's the exact opposite of the Vita, which goes to the person that is furthest from you. So these people are doing the Vita, and they're doing it correctly, and these people are doing the Nightmare Orb. This guy's over here waiting for his chance to get back into the fight, and this guy is still DPSing, and he's close enough. So now the Nightmare Orb is going to jump to this guy, and as soon as that happens, he's going to go over to X, and now this guy has done his job. He's going to go back to DPSing the boss. And it's very important that you stack as close to, or go as close to the icons as you can that you'll see. Because as you can probably see from this picture, it's the tolerances are really tight. There isn't really a lot of room in the second phase or the first phase, honestly, for mistakes. So melee, if you're a little too far out like that, you're gonna be in line of fire. You won't die, but if you've already taken damage or if you get hit by another mechanic, you are dead. So, and range, just stay in this square, rectangle of safety. So the other thing that's going to happen is there's going to be flame tornadoes. When that happens, you have to kite it, but you can cut it in a circle, and a really tight circle. So you don't. There's no need to run way out here and increase the chances of the Vita going to you and arcing through other people and killing them. Just stay, if you're ranged, stay in this rectangle of safety and just kite it around in a circle, and then voila, you're done. And if you're melee, just remember that if you are currently doing the Nightmare Orb, if you get closer to the Nightmare Orb, then it will go to you next, which that's okay. That's not going to kill you with the Flame Tornado. They're different mechanics. But again, you can just, do a circle right around here and then go back to DPSing the boss. Or if you get the Nightmare Orb, then just go take your place over here, and that guy will back to there. And that's really it. Tanks, make sure that you've got the boss far enough back and up against the wall so that there is enough room for the person with the Nightmare Orb to be over here without the giant circle, because it's really big. I mean, you guys have probably seen it by now. It's something like that, maybe even a little bigger. So what you want to enable your melee to do is to do something like this, where this guy is going to be the next soaker. He's still close enough to the boss to hit the boss, but he's also the closest to this person. If during this phase we find out that maybe the person doing the Vita and the person doing the Nightmare are a little too close to each other, so the Nightmare's jumping to the Vita, you can just tell your raid leader and try to compensate for that fight. And then if you wipe or whatever, then they can just move the icons a little bit, so it's a little better. And now, yeah, something like that. And now this guy is definitely closer than this one, stuff like that. So just minor adjustments, but generally speaking, this is the whole strategy. It's a 2 orb phase fight. Once you get that second orb phase down, you want to don't focus on the ads that are going to be spawning. You focus on the boss and just leave the ads, no problem, because you want to push the boss into the final phase before you get another orb phase. If you get another orb phase, you're going to wipe. And then once that final phase happens, we'll talk more about that. But generally speaking, the hardest part of the fight is the orb phase fight, and that is what this video is intended to explain. So I hope this helped.